this. So today we got Nim Jo here who just completed the 613-3 class. And I would like Nim Jo to share with everybody here on what is the truth of the 613-3 class or the 6 core element training. So the reason I'm sharing this is not that I want to get a lot of students. I retire and actually to coach one person is very energy draining. Nim Jo can tell you about this thing. So I let Nim Jo tell you what is going on. Does the class change his entire view, his body, his mind, his look at the martial arts or Wing Chun? And I let him share with you. And is this the same thing like what everybody is teaching on internet, chi this, chi that, and all those kind of stuff? So I let Nim Jo share with you point blank, okay? So that everybody can know what is going on. So the idea is to let people know that what you think might not be what it is. Unless you are there in the 613-3, the states and everything, you really don't know what it is. So Nim, please share, whatever you go through there, good, bad, ugly, whatever, okay? Or I torture you or whatever, okay?
Well, no torture. All right.
And how long
Okay.
you been tortured by me?
No. There's been no torture. I won't lie. It's been hard work. But not but nothing dreadful or nothing unpleasant. The opposite, in fact. So maybe I should explain a little bit about myself. So I'm not an uncoordinated person. I'm not somebody who is not fit. I'm not somebody who is unhealthy. I come from a background. I did 15 years of gymnastics when I was a kid. And I've always, been quite an active person. So Wing Chun martial arts, I've really been studying for the last 5 years here in Spain. And of course, I wanted to know more, and so somehow I found my way to Hendrik's work, and it seemed to me interesting. And it's very different. You think about something because people tell you things, and you think you have notions or ideas about what you think about things because you listen to things, you read things, or people tell you things, or whatever, or your instructor tells you things, or other students tell you things, or you read about things, or you watch films, and you build an idea up about what you think um, and it's amazing how much you forget about what is really knowing about something, because when you're doing gymnastics, for example, it's one thing if someone said to do, okay, you do a round off, 2 backflips and a backward somersault, okay. Everyone tries to do that and they break their neck, okay. So it's one thing when your body experiences something in real time with tuition and with guidance, and that's at a very basic level. That's just like how you have a notion of your body. And as I said, I'm not an uncoordinated person, I'm not a clumsy person, but even so, that makes no difference, because new sensations are new sensations. It doesn't matter how old you are or how long you've been doing something. One thing is your imagination and what you project to be the truth, and another thing is going through the motions of uh, of doing very simple things that you never imagined that you would do in such scrutiny, in such rigorous exploration and observation. And I think it's only then that you become aware of the details of certain things. This might sound quite abstract to people, but if you know anything about the 613-3, it begins with observations about the physical body, and then it moves to the mind and how your mind is able to settle down or not settle down, and quiet down. And then it moves to how you breathe, and then more complicated things, perhaps like force flow and how you generate strength. And then, well, chi flow, which is something which is I still know nothing really about. Very basic, nothing, no real notions about it. And then onto more complicated things if you're interested in fighting, which I'm not really interested in, which is things like momentum. So beginning at the very basic level, like a physical body, it's like you think you know your physical body, and I thought I knew my physical body, and I thought I knew. I had a dominance of my physical body, but you realize it does, as you get older, things change anyway. So whatever you thought you knew is maybe not the reality anymore. And maybe there are things that you never knew anyway. So learning things in very basic steps, baby steps, and I would call them baby steps, and being taught to draw your attention to those baby steps is a new paradigm of awareness for me. It's a new kind of awareness, which is necessary, I guess, if you're going to do a martial art. When, of course, that's the very basic thing, right? Hope maybe that covers it very generally. I haven't gone into detail about the things that I was doing or anything like that, but the exercises were simple in guidance and not so simple to do sometimes. So I had to repeat homework on a few occasions because I jumped to my own conclusions about certain things because of the notions or precepts that I have in my own experience, without wiping the slate clean and coming to something anew with fresh eyes and with a fresh body, ready to feel things in a new way. So that in itself took a lot of work without jumping to conclusions. And I'm still doing it, of course, I still realize that, I jump to a lot of conclusions. My brain runs too fast, or my mouth runs too fast before I can have the real experience of what it is which is being talked about, or which is being discussed, or which I should be learning about. So, yeah.
So how is it your body today and the body before you take the class? What changed?
If I could explain it, it's like everything slowed down. Okay. So everything is like I take it a lot easier, but when I'm taking it easier, I know my own limitations of what I'm doing. So when I'm doing something, it doesn't matter what I'm doing. If I'm training, or I'm doing a drill, or I'm doing some warm-up exercises, or cool down exercises, or doing what my instructor tells me to do, I'm taking it. It seems like it's going slower. So I'm trying to assess what I'm doing or feeling in that moment. That's what's changed.
What do you mean by slower? Do you live in the same paradigm, or you're already no longer in the paradigm before you take the class?
No, I'm not. In no way I'm in the same paradigm as before I took the class, because one thinking is like
say take something easy. Your body before you take the class and now the way how you can sense your body, physical body, not even go far away. Physical body.
Yeah, I'm okay. I'm aware of tension, for example. I'm aware of when I'm stressing or tensing my muscles too far. I'm aware when I'm breathing too fast. I'm aware of the temperature of my body a lot more. I'm aware of how fast I'm going or how slow I'm going. So these things are in real time. I'm more aware of them.
So
If
you're
that makes
like
any
turning
sense.
into a vampire, where the vampire can move so fast that human movement becomes slow down. Is that what you mean by?
I wish I could do that. I wish I could walk on the ceiling, but it's not going to happen. No. So for example, yesterday I was with my seeing,
Mm.
and I was just asking him to push me, right, in various ways. Um, so the first way I asked him to push me was like straight and very strong, not stopping. Okay. Um, and I if it was before, I would have stopped after twice or three times. I said, okay, I know, I understand, I got it, right? But I asked him to do it many times because every time was different. Every time he pushed, even though he's giving the same push to me, the way that I was dealing with it was different all the time. So I was more aware of what the hell I was doing. Okay, not so much what he was doing. Also, I was aware of what he's doing, but like he's quite clear. You know, his instructions would just push me continually. So
And how do you handle your body? Do you have better handle of your body now?
yeah, for sure. And I'm also less micro injuries. That's really important. And I think that's a result of me being aware of my limitations and when to stop. So when I'm when things are not comfortable, or I'm pushing myself too far to do something that I can't really do, I shouldn't really be doing, against someone who is maybe 20 kilos or 15 kilos more than me, or maybe is 10 years younger than me or 15 years younger than me. It doesn't matter what the experience is. These guys are more heavy or they are younger than me. I am. So I know when to stop. Perhaps they don't know when to stop because of their education or whatever it is they're doing.
So
But
another
I know when to stop.
in other words, is that you right now have a sensor in your body. You know what is going on with your body. It's like you have a sensor. You have implant a sensor in your body that before
Yeah,
you don't have that sensor. Now you have the sensor which can run parallel. Your mind is can be using for direction for GPS, but your body be able to parallel processing.
for sure. And the global effect of that is that actually, I have more. It sounds really strange, but I have more endurance, or I have more cardio. I can last a little bit longer, when I have to do more activities which are about endurance, because I can pace myself better, and I know when to stop.
Well,
Um,
you know what is this? This is, everybody today, people talk about Wing Chun have this Xiu Lim Tao.
mm,
Somebody say that Xiu Lim Tao is leader idea.
mm,
Somebody say that Xiu Lim Tao mind power.
mm.
So what is the reality? What you experience is the reality. The reality is you get into the Xiu Lim Tao, you can know all the details. Every point is clear. Like the Chinese saying, dim dim cheng. You always heard about dim dim cheng. Every point is clear. And they talk about mind power. Well, it is the awareness and the mind power. Mind power is actually the awareness. It's not some kind of chi or anything. Is you implant that, you install that in your body, and suddenly you live in, like I said, the analogy, you live in a vampire world. You can see human. You can see, okay, this is your limitation. You can see that, like, you can put the entire thing to slow motion, and you can read it and you can scan it. Okay. But if you don't train this, like you said, baby step to understand your body, even your toes or whatever heck, you cannot do it. And if you cannot even do it in your body, how can you do it with your breathing, your energy, and your momentum?
Going back to this thing, like about thinking that you know something. So if you say to me, lay down on the bed and move your little toes, or move all your toes in tiny amounts. All right. So some people probably say, why the hell am I going to do that? That's a waste of time. I know what that feels like. I move my toes every day, right? But, but, but when you realize that you can't actually move your toes a millimeter or 1 centimeter, that actually is very difficult for you to do that without moving the whole of your foot, then what do you know? What do you know really? How much body awareness do you really have? And it doesn't matter how many years of Tai Chi you've been doing or how many years of Wing Chun you've been doing. It doesn't matter. It's like if you've never been through that silly little thing of lying on the bed and moving your toes, or or paying attention to the way you breathe, then how are you gonna teach someone to move in a complex way when there's an opponent in front of you?
So that's why Wing Chun is say that I say that Xiu Lim Tao actually is called the essence of details training. That's what it is. It how to say that you get what you buy. It is
Sure.
telling you that it is the essence of the details training. And so it make you like in that what the it's not the alien movie. There's another movie. This is like the guy from the outer space is come in. He'd be able to read human, like
Mm-hmm.
So I forgot the name of the movie. It's like it runs so fast to be able to track you. And the 613.3, am I right? Right now you can scan people whether he can breathe or not. So it turn you into the what it is the what pedestal, like the animal you can hunt human.
Yeah, the fact is that the instructions of the 613.3 and the lessons that you learn from the 613.3 are so pragmatic and basic that if anyone is bullshitting to you, that is also a sensor that you have inside of you, that when someone is not, when someone is talking bullshit. And I hate to say that, but because that's quite I don't mean that they mean bad to you. I mean that whatever they're saying is misguided or it's not really the truth. Or
The
so
bottom line is this. The bottom line is this. Hey, it is a fighting. You need to have an assessment of what the heck is going on before you move or you run. If you have 613.3, like this, bring into the momentum. How much do you know momentum before you take the class?
very little in the world of martial arts, nothing,
Well, after you
nothing.
take you after you do those momentum stuff, what do you learn?
It's a world. It's a very complicated world with a lot of variations and variabilities that there's it's going to take a lot of years to be able to understand complex momentum and how it works, or at least feel comfortable in that environment. And if you want to fight, my God, you better be doing an Olympic style training where you're under those conditions where there's multiple types of momentum which exist. Otherwise, you're never gonna, you're gonna be lost. You're gonna get beaten. So it begins with the very basic things of basic, simple momentum, like how you walk forward and how you turn 90 degrees. you know, and I know those things. I know those things from gymnastics, but I had forgotten them. So it's really nice for me to do the 613.3 because I start to remember things about the way we walked in gymnastics. The way that you run up towards the vault, the way you're on the floor and you prepare yourself to do a sequence on the floor. There are things that I forgot in terms of how you accelerate, how you decelerate, how you
That
turn.
exactly is. Fighting is about accelerations. If you do not handle that basic momentum acceleration, you're standing there keeping chi sao, keeping playing with your one step sparring. He punch you this way, you do this sao, that sao, and you have no idea how to accelerate. Now you are running into disaster in the real life. And
Mm.
versus somebody who have no idea, no training, there's one thing. Versus those Olympic grades of people who train, who be able to accelerate their body, you better watch out. So that's why I say, if you go to 613.3, you want to cheese out, you know what he do before he move. Why? Because you sense him.
The other day I was doing Chisao, and after 613.3, it's a lot easier to realize when the person is off balance or leaning into you or leaning too far back. is quite amazing.
Yeah. So there's the chi sao. Another thing is that accelerations. And as you know that in 613.3, there are so many, even the basic acceleration. How do you make use of the momentum and so forth, so forth. And like right now, maybe you can appreciate the recycling of momentum more. If you don't have this, how the hell are you going to fight anything at all? So fighting is fighting like every Wing Chun movie says a straight line, or people saying that in the past 60 years or something, it is a straight line, or any fighting never is a straight line unless you're going to beat the old granny, okay, or people who is
Sure.
very weak, or you bully him. For the real
Sure.
fighting, will it be a straight line, Nimjo?
No, obviously, and you're never going to be. And there are moments in the middle of the momentum that you're going to be unbalanced. You're not going to have balance, and so you better understand momentum, be able to get back to being balanced, right? So
like
so
example that you say that you ask your Sihing to push you.
Yeah.
The same pushback push you. How many type of momentum is there? It's variation. It's variation.
There's so many variations.
So
there's so many variations.
So how are you going to use a hand techniques to handle that this a single push where you have so many variations you have never seen, you don't know? It's like what you step into a water, you thinking you can step into the same flowing water twice, but oh my god, whatever under that, the spiral, the all underflow, all there is keeping changing. So it is actually misleading if you're thinking about your hand techniques. You need to handle that underflow.
Yeah, I mean, there's a big misunderstanding, I think, because you stand in the typical Yiji Kamyangma with your feet pointing inwards, thinking about hand techniques. Well, okay, so you're thinking about your feet pointing inwards, and you're thinking about the other extremity, which is your hands. You've forgotten that there's a whole body in between, right? It's like,
the question now is this, right? Does that structure work in the real life? But when you face your Siheng who is been trained in other martial art, right? Will that structure standing there will work?
So in all the observations of simple momentum, when you sustain structure, you can only sustain it for 1 microsecond. I mean, that's it. That's it. If the momentum coming into you is very fast, or the person weighs a lot, or both, and you try to sustain that force against force in a straight line, you can only sustain it for at least 1 millisecond, and then you're pushed over. You're run over. You're going to get run over. So no, it doesn't work. And it also takes mobility away. I mean, you stiffen up your joints, and they have less reaction time. You can't move them in another way. You can't adapt to a momentum which is constantly changing, because you've placed your bet on one kind of momentum, one kind of structure, which is just going forward or staying still. I mean, it doesn't matter what you're doing with your hands. If you're staying still, you're staying still. If your feet are pointed inwards, they're pointed inwards. If your vertebra is tense and your coccyx is pointed inwards, how is that conducive to movement? I mean, how is that going to help you move? You really think you can sustain someone moving into you with acceleration who weighs 100 kilos? It's not going to happen, right? Or it's 95 kilos, whatever. It's not going to happen.
So as you know now, like the 613.3, even though it is an essence, the basic of Xiu Lim Tao, if I don't want to talk about it, I don't want to tell anybody about it, how many 100 years do you think people can figure out what the heck is going on with that Xiu Lim Tao?
Yeah,
will you be able to figure out what it is?
No, because the paradigm which I had experienced before doing the 613.3 was a paradigm where very confusing for someone who wants to study Wing Chun, where you have to sift through 500 different interpretations of what abduction, what Yiji Kamyangma is, what is Chisao, what is Siêu Lim Tao, what is Cham Kyo, what is, I don't know. You have to sift through all these interpretations, and there's constantly new interpretations. So how is that essential detail training? That's more like that's more like I don't know, the internet, right?
Scattering around,
You can be
scattering
surfing for
around.
you can
Uh,
be surfing for the answer for hundreds of years, right?
but that cannot use in the real life. That is the problem.
Well, there's no systematic truth. There's no truths which have been set up which are systematic. I mean, there's no system which has been set up. So if you go to study Muay Thai and boxing, there is a system which is in place, which is based on what they do every day, right? And it's not complicated. They don't overcomplicate it with things. And sure, there are techniques, but there's a system in place. It's systematized, and it seems like Wing Chun doesn't have any. It's just mix up of different systems. So for me, that was the paradigm that I lived in before, and it was confusing for me as a Wing Chun practitioner.
So, see, the issue right now is 613.3 is the system of 1850s. Is the bottom line of Wing Chun. And right now, as you can know it after the class, did I teach you to fight somebody or beat somebody up, or my Wing Chun is the most authentic Wing Chun or whatever, or I have never said one thing about my Wing Chun or whatever? Heck, but you go to school and you learn all those details which you want to use it in your daily life. Not for just fighting, but for your health and for even when you're walking. Can you use
Sure.
it when you're walking? Right?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, what you learn in what I've learned in the 16.3 is not, it's so far away. It's not techniques based, hand techniques based. It's not about how to, I don't know, how to hit the right pressure point. So the guy, I don't know, it's a paradigm away from that, which is based primarily on having a healthy body and a healthy mind. And that attributing to whatever you want to do in your life. I mean, that is it, and it's miles away from the idea of hurting somebody. I mean, it's not about fighting. I mean,
So
that's not the bottom line of, I mean, in this sense.
yeah, so that's why I say this is an education. This is a real education, the Chinese martial art education, the essence of the Ming Dynasty and evolved down education in 1850s. And with this, every style can make use of it because it got nothing. No, you don't stamp yourself with this is the way of Wing Chun. There's no way in Wing Chun. The
Sure.
beauty of the Wing Chun is that Wing Chun have no way. Because
Yeah, yeah,
no way,
sure.
when you deal with momentum, how can you say, oh, it has to be this way or that way? So that's why when you read that, and then you go to General Qi Ji Guang, when you read that, the General Qi Ji Guang said it is one momentum transformed to another momentum to beat the heck out of your opponent. Now you know. And there is no block either. No block.
No,
Because it's a momentum style. How the world are you going to block a momentum?
no, sure. Sure. Especially if you're in Wing Chun, you're doing sticking body. How are you going to block momentum? If momentum's coming into you, it's moving through you, it's moving around you, it's moving on top of you, below you. And if you don't know your own body, how are
It's
you going to adapt?
very simple thing. It's like two people crash together. Okay, we talk about high speed, not that you're standing down there doing one step sparring with your teacher, your sifu, anything. Just take anybody, real fight, two people crush together. That momentum is not simple anymore. That thing based on the body condition will tweak, will
Sure.
turn, will whatever. Now, the issue is can you handle that? If you can't even handle that, you have no preparations for that, forget about it. You don't know how to play that game.
I mean, the last thing that I can say for people that are, people that are interested in learning this kind of thing, learning Wing Chun or whatever, for people that feel that they are uncoordinated, clumsy, not as gifted as those who are more athletic, people that don't feel that they can last as long on the mat as other people. You know, the 613-3, it puts it all in its place. You know? It gives you the basis not only to be able to begin to learn those things, but also to ask yourself, do you want to continue being in that situation where you're competing in this environment because you feel clumsy, because you feel, you know, it takes work and it takes patience and it takes time. If you have the patience and you have the work ethic and you have the time, then you'll be able to do it. You'll be able to get better. So for those people that are in that situation, I see many people like that, and I've met many people like that, and I've been like that many times. It's a benefit in every sense.
Well, the thing is that this 613-3 actually is to pull you out from the trap, so that you be able to use your body, and the how many months you go through? How many days? How many
three
hours?
months, 3 months, 3 months.
How many hours per day?
I don't know. It depends. In between reading and writing and doing the activities, quite a few.
How many? Say guess. 2, 3.
Yeah, something like that. Something like that. Yeah.
So 3 months, 2, 3 hours every day.
Yeah, more or less.
So that's why I say it is like college. You want to study that one thing, you better put your mind in. And then at the time you graduate, you know, it's not the diploma, it's not who's my sifu, but you know that I can handle that. Okay, I can handle my body. It's not that I'm the best fighter, but I can handle my body. I know what is this. It's like you know your car inside out to a certain degree.
The crazy thing is that also these simple things that you learn in the 613-3, they are not the end. You don't learn them and you don't write the homework and then it's finished. You realize that this goes on forever and that you can continue to develop and refine these things, and that you know very little. I mean, that's the humbling thing about it, is that they say a martial art, you can go and refine, and that's how you build kung fu, right? That's how you build your kung fu. That is it, right? And the 613-3 gives you those basic directions to be able to go and refine what it is that you want to do and you want to be.
That is what the ancient Chinese say. The teacher bring you into the duo, and your kung fu you have to develop yourself. So even to bring you into the duo, 3 months, 90 days, every day, say 3 hours, say 2 hours, you have to spend 180 hours to look into all this basic stuff of yourself. Without that, what kung fu do you have? And that's the reason why I make this. I make this video to share with Nimjo for everybody, is to say that there's another paradigm out there. For all those Wing Chuners who have mind and have heart, want to study, disregard our lineage, there is another paradigm where in the past 130 years, it is no longer there. Okay, this is a reality. And this is an education. This is the contributions of the Chinese culture. I brought it to the America and I now share it out is because we cannot let a civilization lost that way. And another thing is, it has to be an education. Okay, like college. For me, I hate to teach this type of class. I hate it to teach this kind of class. Because every day I have to watch out what the heck is going on, then I'm screaming, redo homework, do this, repeat this, okay? And then Nimjo were thinking I'm a bad guy, okay? It's like strict like hell.
No.
Okay? So I make this video not to tell you that I want student. I just tell you I don't want student, because you know, that few $100 like a college tuition fee, you know, is it just try to put everybody have attention to do the thing. But in my side is there's a responsibility there. So make sure that everybody, when they graduate, get a quality. And so when Nimjo later maybe teaching somebody or anything, they know what is going on. What is he
Yeah.
teaching?
I mean, you
Okay.
said it. You said it. It's got to be an education. When you present culture, it can't be just a simple presentation, like a PowerPoint presentation where I just appear and I give my 5 cents, right? There has to be some substance, some content behind it. If not, then we can all paint a pretty painting and sell it to somebody. So if there's no educational value, then my advice is that you don't really pay much attention to it.
So,
That's
you
it.
know, time is up, and this is the reality. Okay. So Asia never change. Yesterday, I just told some friend in Asia never change, because in Asia is only mine is better, mine is older, I can beat you. Do you know how you're going to face the war machine of Darth Vader's or Chi Chi Kuang or the Olympic Games? So see you guys. Thank you, Nimjo.
Thank you, Hendrik.